It's time for high school football on the Rev Game of the Week, and it's time for playoff football in Division I non-select. Tonight we have a by-district round matchup here at Griffin Field, home of the Dutchtown Griffins. The 14 seed Dutchtown will play the number 19 seed Parkway High School out of Bossier. When we come back, we will talk about the game, have the coin toss, national anthem, and then the starting lineups and the opening kickoff. All of that coming to you soon on the Rev Game of the Week.
B.T. Chapman and A.J. Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
The reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
Cash for your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Welcome back to Griffin Field, Rev Game of the Week. Parkway at Dutchtown by district round of the Division I non-select playoffs. I'm Jeff Porsche. and I'm joined by the coach, Patrick Email, and it's good to have you here, Coach. Welcome to the postseason.
Man, I'm excited to be here, Jeff. Kind of giddy. Maybe it's from a lack of sleep, but a little giddy tonight for some playoff football. In all honesty, didn't know if we would be here some 7 weeks ago.
No, Dutchtown's made a dramatic turnaround and won a share of District 5-5A, and Parkway coming out of Bossier. Let's talk about these two teams and their two coaches. And the Parkway, you got Coy Brotherton, and at Dutchtown you have Guy Mastretta, who's been here for a while now. Talk about their career records.
Well, Brotherton is in his third year, 18-13, missed the playoffs in 2020, but last year finished 6-4. You think 6-4? Okay, but it's when you playing good, Jeff.
Yes.
And they went to the quarters, finished 8-5. That momentum brings them into this year, finishing 7-3, back in the playoffs again, with a seasoned veteran quarterback, an outstanding linebacker, among others. We were watching the kicker out here kicking 50-yard field goals in warm-up. So it's going to be a great football contest. Brotherton has his team ready to roll, and of course Dutchtown is playing well with their last 2 weeks with their best opponents on their schedule last 2 weeks, Jeff.
And they split those games and could have won both of them, but except for a dramatic fourth quarter comeback by Denham Springs. And this is the first meeting of all time between Dutchtown and Parkway, and you'd have thought maybe at some point teams with this postseason tradition that they have, their pedigree and everything, that they would have met, but this is their first meeting, so this ought to be fun to check out. Dutchtown, their playoff runs through the years. Benny Saya had a long storied career here, 11-12 in the postseason. Guy Mastretta, he's won 2 playoff games. He won a couple of years ago at home against Terrebonne and Mason Smith. That game we covered a couple of years ago. And then there was a dramatic come-from-behind win against Slidell about 5 years ago when they were down 21-3 at the half and came back and won the game. So he's won a couple, but then he's lost 5 as well. Last year they lost in the first round to Acadiana.
Well, Acadiana, I mean, those losses, he's run into West Monroe, run into Acadiana, run into Dutchtown, and the winner of this game will face Dutchtown next week. So it's understandable. Guys run into some pretty good football teams in the playoffs.
And they're the 14 seed. They were the 1 seed. I can remember that back in the day, back in 2010, back in the Landon Collins era of Dutchtown football. Their all-time playoff record overall 13-17. They have a winning record at Griffin Field. That's a good sign for tonight, I suppose. They have a 18-season playoff streak. Their last home playoff win 2020. Their last playoff win was 2020. That was a game against Terrebonne that we were talking about earlier. Their first playoff game ever was 2004. And their deepest run, they lost a couple of times to Westgate in the quarters, and then they lost one time to Destrehan in the quarters, and that's the farthest that they have gotten. So they have a tradition. They haven't gotten to the Dome yet, and you would hope one day that they can get there. This is a 14 seed. It's going to be a tough run, but it's going to be a good game tonight. And I guess we could look at Parkway as well and talk about their last 5 seasons, and you kind of talked about that already. They're on their team on the rise as we see the Dutchtown Griffins head to the field. We'll get to Parkway in just a minute, but there are the Griffins wearing the purple tonight. Now for Parkway, you want to talk about that a little bit, Coach?
Well, Brotherton, that's all you really can go back. You missed the playoffs, and maybe that's the 4 and 6 season. Maybe that's why Brotherton got the job in his first season, 2020. They go 3-5, but you can see the progress that they made. 3-5, 6-4 this year, 7-3. Last year's in the quarters, so they're looking to build on what they did last year. And we talked about it earlier. Their most known football that we know of anyway, most recent known alumni from Parkway?
That's the quarterback.
Took
him to the Dome. Brandon Harris.
Brandon Harris played over right down the road.
And you see on the other side, here come the Parkway Panthers out of Bossier, out of 1-5A. The red smoke. They're wearing their road white with the black helmets and the black pants tonight. That's usually Dutchtown's colors here at Griffin Field with the black pants and the black helmets. But Dutchtown's going for the silver tonight. And so we are just about ready for the national anthem. And Sheely Bell and the Dutchtown Sound will be coming out with that shortly. And here you go.
Hashtag Dirty Red. I'll be tired of seeing red, Jeff. St. Joseph last night. Panthers tonight. Arkansas tomorrow.
Tonight, we're privileged to have Miss Isabella Latkovich, a junior here at Dutchtown High, a member of the cross-country team, and a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, who will be doing our invitation.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day, Father. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to play tonight. Father, I pray for these players, Father, Lord, that they would honor you, Father, that they would play with integrity, Father, that you would keep them safe and healthy, Father, and that they would play with good sportsmanship. In Jesus' name, amen.
Today is also Veterans Day, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep in mind those men and women, both past and present, who served our country, for without them, we wouldn't have the freedoms we have today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have the national anthem in the Dutchtown alma mater, played by the Dutchtown Sound.
Sheely Bell and the Dutchtown Sound with the national anthem and the alma mater. And we are just about ready for high school football, and we'll have the captains coming to the field in a moment to take the coin toss and then will have the opening kickoff. And this is kind of an emotional moment because this is possibly, maybe likely, the last home game for these seniors, these senior captains. And on the Dutchtown side, you have Pearson Pyron, A.K. Burrell, and then Ethan Fields and Dixon Agu. 4 guys who have already signed to play college football. But likely, depending on how things turn out, this could be their last home game here tonight. 4 guys that are going to be playing college football next season.
No doubt, Jeff. You mentioned it. We hadn't even talked about it, but you're talking about elections on Tuesday, Veterans Day today, potentially the last time that these seniors play at Dutchtown. They got to win tonight, got to win next week in order to come back here and play. So
we're going to have audio, Patrick, of the coin toss. So let's take it to the field. You going to call it? It's all 2 dollars again, all right? And as you can see, it is a cage. You have all this cost.
Dutchtown has won the toss and deferred their decision to the second half.
And so Parkway will get the ball first. So let's take a look at the Parkway offensive starters while we have a chance. At quarterback, you're going to have Ashton Martin. And then in the backfield, you're going to have Barrett Newman, Jalen White. And then the receivers, Trenton Lake, Drea Abner, Michael Collier, Antonio Gladney. Offensive line, Dolan Williams, Ethan Plunkett, Chandler Davis, Aaron Galvin, and Jeremiah Williams at right tackle. And for the Dutchtown defensive starters, they're going to go with their 3-4. And there's some changes, some interesting changes out here. Josh Lewis, Baron Cozy, Diego Spears, they're normally out there. Carter, Hanbury, Dixon Agu. A.K. Burrell is going to move from safety to inside linebacker. Anson McCaffrey, he's an outside linebacker for sure. Nikias Keller's in the starting lineup tonight at cornerback. And Caden Mackey's moving to safety, taking A.K.'s spot. So that's an interesting change, bringing AK into more of a disruptor spot, perhaps.
Get him closer to the action, Jeff. We get to watch him right here as he runs down on kickoff. They got him on a different side. He's normally on the right side on kickoff, but they got him on the left side, and he's a pleasure to watch. When his time's up here, we'll miss him.
And there's the kickoff. And Parkway will take the ball at the 32-yard line. And we're talking about A.K. Burrell. That was Amray Brown with taking the kickoff. But we were talking about A.K. Burrell, and the Parkway audience probably doesn't know what happened last week and what happened this season. He's a two-way player. He's a Wildcat quarterback. He plays running back. And last week he was playing safety. He's inside linebacker tonight. He had 2 touchdown passes, the game-tying touchdown and the game winner in overtime. So this guy is just a pure football player, and we're going to see him in action right now. First down, deep pass downfield, and he's open, and he overthrows it by inches. Well, as they had the man beating the coverage. And that's White, as you see the quarterback. He's a big, tall quarterback right there, and the pass just misses the intended receiver.
Well, that pass right there dispels all rumors that maybe he's a little nicked.
Yes, and that was interesting because White came out the backfield. He had Carter Hanbury on the coverage from his outside linebacker position, and that was a mismatch, and you saw it right there. And there's a little pitch out, and this time White's going to get a first down. I believe it's close.
This guy marks it short, Jeff, on this side. Little toss sweep. Looked like they had numbers.
Yes.
That was the end of the replay right there.
You see Hanbury with a little redemption right there with the tackle. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Hanberry didn't play last week. He's got some injury issues, but he's back.
He's got a cast on his right hand.
He was injured in the Denham Springs game. It's 3rd and 1. Quarterback keeper, first down.
For all practical purposes, that was an unbalanced into the boundary. Jeff, they had a tight bunch. They offset the running back, and then the quarterback followed. Number 6 is way on the other side of the numbers.
Yeah, look how far away he is when you see the wide shot at 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. First down of the night. And there's a run outside, and White has all kind of room, but then he is
AK Burrell
from behind by AK, and that's what we were talking about. AK is just one of those athletes that can just run all over the field and cause problems.
He's been a pleasure. He's just a football player. If you got 22 AK Burrells, you can win some football games. I don't care where you put him on the field. He's a student of the game. He studies it. He knows all the positions.
We were talking about that last week. He might be the MVP of 5-5A when it's all said and done. Deep pass downfield, and it's out of bounds and incomplete. So they're trying to test this Dutchtown secondary, trying to go deep and get some quick points on the big plays here, Coach.
Well, East Ascension took a couple shots deep.
Yes.
Denham Springs.
They took a lot of shots.
Shots deep. So they saw the last 2 films that Dutchtown played. That's the most points Dutchtown's given up. Those last 2 weeks, almost 50 points in those last 2 games, 48, I think, if my math is correct.
In the 7 before that. 3rd and 9. And a play fake. Looking left.
He's open.
He's wide open.
Oh, he threw it to the wrong guy, Jeff.
Yeah, you saw the guy, the yellow gloves.
Number 2.
For it. That's White again.
He threw it to the wrong guy.
They went to Abner.
So, even looked like Ford was pointing to. I think he was pointing to him, Jeff. They're going to come back to that, and we'll see if Chris Harrell can make some adjustments.
Right, because it looks like they have an advantage out there right now if they can just make the connection.
Well, you used to watch Sean Payton. He used to script his first 12 plays, and usually 11 of them were passes, and you knew Drew Brees was going to throw it 48 times. And Parkway looked like they're coming in with the intention of throwing it.
Right, and Ashton Martin's thrown 155 passes in a 10-week season as a timeout's going to be called by the Panthers. We'll take a break. No score. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, Advantage Therapy, Peak Performance Physical Therapy, for their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
And here comes the punt, and they get it away. And it's going to be taken at the 25. And he's got room outside to the left and gets to the 30. I believe that was Mackey on the return. Yes, number 5.
Was.
And with 1st and 10, we'll look at the Dutchtown starters on offense. And you have Pearson Pyron at quarterback, and he'll be joined by Gary Dukes in the backfield. We're going to see A.K. Burrell. That's why we put him in there right there. The main receivers you're going to see tonight, Tyler Adams and Logan Mayo. Mayo made that big touchdown catch to tie the game late in the 4th quarter last week. Dylan DeSherry at tight end. Then you got McKinney, Graham, Cangelosi, Lowry, and Fields, and it's 1st and 10. And it's a keeper from Pyron. He's tripped as he almost broke free, but it's going to bring up a 2nd down and long, and we're going to look at the defensive starters. We'll look at the replay here, and we'll get to the defensive starters after the next play.
Yeah, Jeff, his eyes were downfield. He just didn't pick up his feet. He saw end zone.
Yes, but he only got 3 after the trip, and it's 2nd and 7, and a quick swing pass overthrown as they're trying to get it to Dukes out the backfield, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 7. Let's look at the defensive starters for Parkway. You have Chris Meslow, Abed Zidan, Jace Parks, Ray Mayweather on the line, Zayden Taylor, Barrett Newman, Amaray Brown at linebacker, Camaro, Mayo, Ashton Jackson at cornerback, Carter Wells and Greg Shidman Jr. at safety. And so now 3rd and 7, Coach, and they had a shot at that little swing pass just off target.
Dutchtown threw it well last week, Jeff. I put the over and under at 11.5.
And it's going to be 4th down as the keeper from Pyron will not get enough for the first down. It's going to be 4th and about 4 or 5. So a punting situation for the Griffins. 9:19 left to go in the first. No score as Parkway taking on Dutchtown. So both teams are going to exchange punts on their opening series as Roussel will go back to punt for the Griffins. And he gets it away, and it's going to bounce to the 26. And a little hole outside and goes out of bounds. Carter Wells, junior safety, 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They're winning that field position game right now, Coach.
They are. Things that go unnoticed in the special teams game, Jeff. Grant Denicola is snapping, and the snap was fine.
Yes.
But if it's Pyron snapping, Pyron runs 4.6, 4.5.
Right.
And he's down the field, and he's probably 10 yards ahead of where Denicola was running down the field.
And as I say that there is a field position advantage for Parkway, they lose it because the flag's going to push them back. So
10 yards.
So they're going to push them back to the 30. So both teams have started their series around the 30-yard line. Parkway was able to get 1 first down, and that's where they got the field position advantage. And it looked like they were going to get past the 40 on the punt return, but now the penalty will push them back 10.
Dutchtown special teams has gotten better throughout the year, Jeff, early in the season. And, of course, last week Mackey dropped that ball. Teammates picked him up. Now it's another penalty.
Wow.
This is a dead ball. They're backing him up some more.
From the reception of the punt.
Okay, no, they
marked it off wrong.
I hear Ted Babin, the public address, saying, and he's right next to the officials in the booth, so they're saying they're assessing it from the spot of the punt reception and not the spot of the foul. So that's going to put it at the 19.
All right, now they're resetting the chain, so it's 1st and 10. For a minute, I thought it was 1st and 20, but that didn't look right. Parkway in a pro set, 2 backs in the backfield.
And a run up the middle for very little, and that's the heart of that Dutchtown defense. And it's going to get maybe a yard or 2. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for the Panthers.
Jeff, Dutchtown is not doesn't have great size on the defensive line, and Parkway got 295, 300, 360. They got some large campers up front, so they're going to try to push Dutchtown around a little bit.
And you see 2 men in motion now going left. So they're probably running left. There it is. Strung out. Can he turn the corner? He does, and he's got a first down, I believe. So nice run by Jalen White as Hanbury chases him out.
Dutchtown
was impotent. He just turned the corner. It looked like not Jalen, but Jaden Daniels that we see on Saturday. He turned the corner right there. So Dutchtown's going to have to adjust their angles because 2 can run.
Yes, and that might be a little part of their strategy. They stretched the defense in the opening drive, and now they're just running it. Maybe Dutchtown has that pass in the back of their heads right now, as that's going to go nowhere. Look at Josh Lewis coming up with the tackle behind the line of scrimmage of Jalen White.
Let's see the replay right here.
Back at the 25-yard line.
And he was unblocked.
The guard and the right guard and tackle Jeff pulled, and they still gave it, and that's an odd play.
It's a 5-yard loss. What it is.
It equaled a 5-yard loss.
So now you got 2nd and 10.
Seemed like running back was on the wrong side maybe, and they faked it and gave it the wrong way.
Yeah, it didn't look didn't look right.
This is kind of a wing over.
And we're going to have a whistle and a timeout called by Parkway, and they're going to be down to, I believe, one timeout left. And so right now we'll keep it here, and let's talk about the non-select playoffs in the area. And there's 3 games, and, of course, the other Rev game of the week is over at East Ascension, over at Spartan Stadium, as West Ouachita is going to take on East Ascension. And we just got a score update, Coach. East Ascension's leading 3-0 in the first, so Onaveros, great kicker, got the first points on the board. Sanamaw is going to Zachary. That's going to be a tough order for them.
Well, Zachary's probably not feeling too well after losing to Catholic last week, but East Ascension, they play pretty good against teams that with West in it, as they beat West Monroe from up north earlier this year in overtime. So
same district, too.
West Ouachita coming East Ascension.
So now, 2nd and 15. And the quarterback going deep again. And he's got the receiver and overthrown by about 5 yards. They're trying to get White out the backfield, but that time you had safety help right there, as you see Gabe Kling on coverage.
Tyler Adams grabs him right there, and two was able to push him away, and referee let him play, and ball was overthrown about 5 yards.
That's interesting, though, you bring that up, Coach, because we're talking about some other players playing in that secondary. Tyler Adams is a starting receiver, but I think maybe they're making some adjustments in the secondary right now, considering the way that Parkway wants to play this game.
Well, you move Caden Mackey, the more experienced guy as far as the season goes, playing in the secondary, probably knows the calls better, and they're telling Adams, hey, just man up, and taking a little less responsibility as he doesn't get much snaps.
Rolling out, and he's going to throw downfield, and it's a sliding attempt, incomplete, as they're trying to go to Dre Abner, and it's 4th down.
You know who's putting pressure, Coach?
That's AK. Look at him coming from that edge. Good job by White picking him up, though. Yeah. Got him free, but the pass was just off.
Barron needs on the backside, if you know the defense, and you know that they're blitzing from the other end, that's going to force the quarterback to flush. You got to stay a little wider. You can't be as aggressive to turn him in too.
And gets it away, and it's a high punt, fair catch. He drops it again. Oh, Mackey, and we're talking about dropping it again. He dropped one last week against East Ascension in the 4th quarter, and one play later, East Ascension took a 7-point lead. And so that's in the back of everybody's head. A.K. Burrell normally receives punts, but they're going with Mackey right now. So that's something to keep your eye on here as we go on the evening.
Got to give a shout-out to the swim team for Dutchtown High, as the coaches come and take care of us in the press box. Jeff?
So it's 1st and 10. And keeper by Pyron, and tripped again. I tell you, they're a shoestring away from breaking it for a long run right there.
Yeah, I'm sure they're in the headset in the press box saying, pick up your feet, pick up your feet. You do those high knee drills all summer, all spring, all fall.
So you see it right there. And again, just barely getting through. And it's a 5-yard gain, though. That's their longest run of the night so far. We're about halfway through the first. No score. And there's another one, and that time met at the line of scrimmage.
Well, eight's there Mike Backer. He's 6'2", 215. Got to get a hat on him.
Barrett
he makes
Newman.
plays in this 4-3 defense. There he is right there.
Barrett Newman. He has 2 interceptions, 39 tackles, and 9 tackles for loss. He's a force.
Hadn't seen 0 on offense yet, Jeff.
No, you have not. AK saving him for another drive, maybe. And there's going to be a punting situation, as coming up with the play is number 14, Emre Brown, linebacker for the Panthers. And this defense is pretty good, Coach. We've heard pregame that they kind of match up really well against us, and you're seeing it right now.
Well, they got more size on the offensive line than they do on the defensive line. But you got four down linemen that's allowing the linebackers to run.
This is returnable to the 22. Outside to the 34. And, is he all right? That was a helmet to the turf, number 18. That's Carter Wells. So let's look at the replay.
Ishmael Patterson on the tackle.
He took a violent neck first hit. Look at that. Yeah, he's all right.
He probably wished number 30 would have blocked him. They gain 15 yards on that change of possession there, Jeff?
Yes. Dutchtown has not gotten a first down. There's only been one first down on the evening. That was on the opening drive. First series of downs for Parkway. 34-yard line, 1st and 10, 4:59, no score. Dutchtown and Parkway.
They're going to run 2 out of the backfield.
They lost the ball on the snap, and he's going to have to hit the ground as Diego Spears and A.K. Burrell come flying.
Yeah, I think they're setting up 2 out the backfield because they're shifting everybody over, unbalanced, and that way 2.
That's Jalen White, number 2.
Yeah, he's a big part of their offense.
Right.
I expect him to come out of the backfield on the nub side before the night's over.
That's a 12-yard loss, 2nd and 22, so they're way behind the lines here. And there's a little fake reverse.
Dutchtown snuffed it out, though. They there.
Right. And I believe that was White again.
It was.
On the carry. But, good job by the Griffins. You see, I believe that's Kling and AK helping out on the tackle, forcing him out of bounds.
I haven't watched any film on him, but it seems like what we've seen so far, that 2 is all over the film for Parkway when you watch their offense all year. So even if he's lined up away from you, you have to note, hey, he can come back, so you got to stay home. You can't take off and run.
Number 2, Jalen White, in white tonight for Parkway.
I see what you did there. I expect quarterback draw right here.
Well, and he's flushed, and he'll get a few, but that's not close. So that's Diego Spears.
Nope.
No, that's actually
Josh Lewis. Josh Lewis on the tackle.
4th down and long.
Sophomore having 2 big plays right there. They ran 2 out the backfield. They saw him, picked him up, banged on him a little bit going down the field. Martin wasn't able to get the ball to him. AK's back deep. It's a switch.
Yeah, that's not a surprise after the struggles that Mackey has had. And a good rush. I believe Kling came close. That's a great punt, too. And AK does a good job of backpedaling and fielding the punt cleanly at the 35-yard line. So now Dutchtown kind of has an advantage on field position after the errant snap.
That helps. You know, Dutchtown's seen something on film because they've come close to. They hadn't really gone after. They pressured the punter, but they haven't really gone after it. That one right there was a little bit more aggressive, going after the punter.
They're getting closer every time. You're bringing that up. This is a punter's duel so far. 3:37, no score. And this time they go with the back Dukes, and they're ready for that. And Dutchtown's had a lot of trouble running this football here tonight.
Well, let's see if Dutchtown can't set the edge right here. You're watching DeShary. And I don't know if 44 was second level.
That's Jaden Taylor who kind of strung it out.
Yeah, outside linebacker.
So it's going to be 2nd and 10. And they're playing all tight. The deepest guy is the safety, about 7 yards past the line of scrimmage. We've seen that a lot on Dutchtown. Let's see if they can stretch it right here, and they do. And he's open.
Mayu.
And that's Mayo with the catch. And that's the guy we saw last week that made the game-tying catch on the halfback pass.
I talked a little bit to Mike Janis in the cafeteria during the week, and they knew he had hands, and I said, Coach, Dutchtown has a history of a little wide receiver with good hands. Caleb Ricka comes to mind.
Yes.
Had a great career at Dutchtown and played baseball at the college level.
Over at Northwestern. And there's the handoff to Dukes. He finds a hole, and he's got close to a first down. As it's going to be, we see the far side spot is right at the chain. This might be enough.
Yep, they'll move the chains just enough to loosen it up. Just that one pass. My over and under was 11.5 throws for Dutchtown. After watching them throw it last week, talked to Janice about that. I said, they threw the ball well last week. Pearson is getting more comfortable throwing the football.
1st and 10. And there's Dukes again, and he finds a hole and got another first down. And the Griffins are moving down the field and are in the red zone for the first time tonight. So,
yeah, Jeff.
Oh, no, they're right at the red zone. They're at the 20 now. And now they are, as some good patient running right there, waiting for the hole to develop, and gets about 5. So that's Gary Dukes.
Yeah, well, and I have to go back and count whether or not Parkway was kind of cheating to the line of scrimmage on the first series, and then that long pass may have backed him up, and it doesn't take much. Just back him up, give Dukes a little bit of chance to make a cut.
2nd and 5. And we have a whistle. And while we wait for this motion penalty to bring it back to 2nd and 10, we'll bring up that Zachary has a 14-0 lead over Sanamaw. And then over at Spartan Stadium, another field goal by Ontiveros at 6-0. East Ascension leads West Ouachita.
Yeah, Dutchtown just ran. They pulled Fields in the right guard, and I'm sorry, I'll talk about that in a second. That was McKinney that pulled. That's the same play.
And there's the keeper by Pyron, and he breaks a tackle, and he's close to another first down. He's probably about a yard shy. But that's a good job by Pyron.
That's a play that they've been running, Jeff. This time he just doesn't trip in the hole. Picks his feet up, able to get in there, makes a nice cut.
Right, and they got past number 7, Ashton Jackson, at that corner position, and now it's this is 3rd and 2 as we are coming to the final minute of the first quarter. Probable running situation, and it looks like we have the running back getting it for an easy first down, and he has more inside the 5 as Gary Dukes running hard for the first down.
Ever since the week 2, you're talking about Dutchtown with a couple player of the week. Pyron was player of the week. Dukes was player of the week. They snap it quick. Give it to Dukes again. Lunges to the 1, Jeff.
That's a nice run off that right tackle for the final play, most likely of the first quarter. Let's see if they are going to run one. They don't have to. Clock's at 12.
I thought he lunged. They must have thought his elbow was down.
Yeah, because that spot is about a yard shy of where he landed. So the first quarter will come to an end. No score, but Dutchtown is knocking on the door. We will take a break. Parkway 0, Dutchtown 0. You are watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Probably heard that ETEL has become Rev. What you may not know is that we're revving up your internet to symmetrical speed for free. Symmetrical speed means that your download and upload speeds are the same, thanks to the Rev All-Fiber network. The new speeds have been applied to your current internet plan, and there's nothing for you to do except enjoy shopping, gaming, streaming, learning, and laughing. Learn more at letsrev.com. Thanks for being a loyal customer, and enjoy symmetrical speeds from Rev. New name, same company.
Second quarter ready to begin. Scoreless first quarter, a punter's duel, but in the final couple of minutes of the first quarter, Dutchtown has mounted a drive after a nice pass from Pearson Pyron to Logan Mayo and a couple of nice runs by Gary Dukes. And now it's 2nd and goal from the 3, and we change the sides of the field. And I wish they would be on the other side because we're now on the far side. It's hard to see that corner because it gets kind of far and dark because we are on the other side of the press box. So we might have a little delayed call here.
Well, it's a lucky side of the field for the Griffins. As last week it was good to them.
Yes, the game-tying and game-winning touchdowns were in that corner. And Dukes.
Bows his way in. Touchdown.
Is he in? Yes, touchdown. Far side. Official calls it. And Dutchtown takes the lead, 6-0. 3-yard touchdown run by Gary Dukes. And you know Dukes likes that because Dukes Dukes has had a great season, hasn't scored a lot of touchdowns, and that's a pride thing for him. So he's proud to get that touchdown right there, Coach. And the extra point comes.
Kind of in the doghouse, talked about it earlier in week 1, week 2. And Dutchtown offense scored a bunch of points. We'll talk about Gary Dukes when we come back.
Yeah, 7-0 Dutchtown. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
And 7-0 Dutchtown. Jeff Horsch, Patrick Email with you as Roussel is getting ready to kick. And Parkway will get the ball after the Gary Dukes touchdown run. And here it is. And you're usually going to get that little sky-high kick. And it's taken at the 20. And this one is returnable. And it's got a lot of room past the 40. And it's going to be a nice field position. Going back to Gary Dukes, Coach, he's the guy that gets the job done between the tackles. But a lot of times Pearson will score the touchdowns on that option, or they bring in AK on the Wildcat inside the red zone. So he doesn't get a lot of chances to score, but he got one right there, and he took advantage.
Oh, he's run hard. We talked about it. Player of the week earlier. Pyron's been player of the week. Tiger Rag gave AK player of the week. So Dutchtown has some options on offense, but it's been a pleasure to watch Dukes fill in for Dylan Sampson.
The pitch out. And nothing doing right there. And then maybe we can tell the Parkway audience who's watching at Dutchtown, you had Dylan Sampson for 3.5 years pretty much, who now is backing up at Tennessee and has a bunch of touchdowns for the Volunteers this year. And the first couple of weeks, they tried to replace him, and it took a while. It didn't take until about week 3 that Dukes really got the ground moving. And so now he's doing his job, and Dutchtown's offense has been rolling since.
Very well said. One thing we've noticed.
And on 2nd and long, and again, they string it out. Still turns the corner, gets a couple.
White. Yeah. I asked one of the players, Jeff, during the week, what should I expect from Parkway? He said 1,000 formations.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if they run 1,000 formation, that means they run 3 plays. Because a lot of teams like to use smoke and mirrors to a certain extent to disguise what they're doing and make defenses prepare for all kind of different formations. Their emphasis is to get the ball to 2, whether it's throwing it deep or White handing the ball to him or throwing it to him deep.
And we're going to talk more about Parkway on this next change of possessions possibly. As quarterback throws out, deep pass, and he's open and it's underthrown.
Pressure.
And the pressure from AK kind of hurried the throw right there.
If not, it may have been 6 for Parkway. Snuck him out.
As it brings up 4th down in Parkway, they got here, and you saw they had a big run early in the season. They played kind of the easier part of their schedule. They lost 3 of the last 4, but those teams are all powerful teams as we have the punt coming.
Nice punt.
And it's a beauty. And AK's going to return it. Ooh, nice juke. And look at that. He made something out of nothing, gets to the 30 as it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Griffins. Let's go back and look at the graphic again about Parkway's schedule because – they started out really strong. They had a nice win against Captain Shreve. Captain Shreve was highly regarded back then. And then you had the last 3, Seabird, Airline, and Benton. Those are all top 10 seeds in the Division I postseason. So they played the tough part of their schedule, and they played well, but they lost 3 of the last 4.
Yes. Dutchtown started out struggling 0-2, while Parkway started out 6-0, and the end of that season's kind of didn't mirror each other.
But that's some tough opponents that they played. 1-5A is deep. And on 1st down, look at he gets away, and it's a 1st down all the way inside the 40-yard line, as now the running game is kind of taking over as a nice option keeper by Pearson Pyron.
Well, a little bit of a high snap, kind of threw the rhythm off a little bit. And Pearson, Jeff, the first 2 times he touched the football,
right,
almost had a run similar to that.
And there's Gary Dukes trying the left side and breaks a tackle and driven down at the last moment by number 96, Ethan Hewitt. And that's going to be, let's say, 2nd and inches. They're not moving the chains.
Now they're moving.
Now they're moving it. Now they're moving it, so it's 1st and 10. And a pass downfield, wide open. DeSherry's going to score. Beautiful fake.
Touchdown! Touchdown! You know, you knew it was coming.
You don't expect the pass from Dutchtown, and you want to force the pass, almost tease them to pass because you don't respect the passing game. They respect it right now, Coach.
Yeah, no doubt that before that I was saying, last year Dylan Sampson and Baylor Langlois and Pearson, they kind of all played off of each other, and they benefited from one key and having a big run. And Roussel,
he makes the extra point. Hold the thought. We'll come back to that. It's 14-0 Dutchtown, 9:44 in the first. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
And now Dutchtown is rolling early, 14-0, as you have the touchdown pass from Pyron to
DeSherry.
And you were talking earlier about some of the offensive tendencies for Dutchtown. Why don't you talk about that there?
Yeah, well, last year you watched Baylor and Dillon and Pearson all feed off each other, and this year AK, Pearson, and Dukes. But DeSherry's been a beneficiary going all the way back to the Covington game where he had a touchdown.
23-yard line taken to the 35. So, again, they get pretty good field position every time they touch the ball, as that was a nice return by number 27, Trey Fisher. And so Parkway's got to get something going. They have been really close on these passes as they've been able to break the secondary. Parkway, at some point, if Dutchtown can't make the proper adjustments and keep up with their speedy wide receivers, they're gonna come back and get some points really quickly here.
Parkway is trying to get Dutchtown to commit to numbers over here so they can take advantage of White, just like they did just now. Got 4 yards out of it. And they threw White five for Parkway. Trenton Late. He was the intended target on the 3rd down play, and they got him outside wide on the numbers. And Langlois is following him around.
2nd and 6, tackle by Hanberry and Kling. And there's a run by White, and out in the backfield, another tackle. And I believe that's Dixon Agu, the middle linebacker for the Griffins. Tulane commit, Coach.
Yeah, I think Dixon's football, his best football is ahead of him.
And you know why? Because he's a scholar athlete. He was honored at the Saints game Monday night for a scholar athlete of the week.
$500. He probably would have preferred the Powerball, but $500 will do, Jeff. I'll take it.
3rd and 7. And pressure. Oh, gets away. Now he's just going to back foot and get rid of it. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
Caught a Hanberry with the pressure, knocked the guy back in. Looked like Wingo from LSU pushing the tackle back into the quarterback last week. But they were trying to go to White again. Great coverage, and they were banging down the field. letting them play.
And also a little assist on the coverage, or the pressure by Baron Cozy, 41 for the Griffins. And so a punting situation.
A.K. Burrell deep.
Great minds think alike. He's at the 30. And they get that one off fairly easy, but it's off the side of his foot. Still gets a good punt. It's going to hit right out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Well,
and so Dutchtown's going to take over.
Yeah, the last thing Parkway wanted was a 3-and-out right there, Jeff.
Yeah.
Now that defense is back on the field. They've given up touchdowns the last 2 drives. Dutchtown's O-line is feeling it.
And you saw a good shot of Guy Mastretto on the sidelines moments ago, as he's done in my opinion, his best coaching job at Dutchtown. As you talk about starting out 0-2, scoring 7 points in his first 2 weeks, and then won 6 of his last 7. And Dukes
bounces it.
And since we're talking about the schedules again, we saw the Parkway schedule, and you got to bring it up. They got a short gain right there, but Parkway, and you talked about, they're on a losing streak. They lost 3 of their last 4. But 1-5A is really deep when you talk about, you have Parkway, you have Airline, you have Captain Shreve, you've got Airline, and you got Benton. Those are 5 really strong teams.
Well, you got two 6 seeds and an 8 seed.
Yeah. As the pass goes to Mayo, and he's going to cut inside, and he is close. I think about a half a yard shy.
Is that 3 or 4 pass attempts for the Griffins?
That's at least. I know they've completed 2 to Mayo and 1 to DeSherry.
And then an incomplete.
And had that incomplete swing pass.
So that's 4. Over and under 11.5.
3rd and inches. And this is
Lagarde.
Christopher Lagarde, but he's not going to get it. They're going to go with the keeper from Pyron. And it's another first down close to midfield. The first couple of drives, it looked like Parkway had that snuffed out, and even though you kind of tripped a couple of times, they were making contact. And now they're having trouble, and they're getting blown past the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10. And there's a little swing pass. So that was trouble, as that was jumped, and they're going to say it was an incomplete pass, not a lateral. We had that issue last week at the Santa Monica Live Oak game.
Great play.
Yes, look at the
Parkway secondary. I didn't pick up the number.
And it was definitely forward pass, number 30, Greg Chitman Jr.
Yeah, he's a senior. He's seen it before. Well, it's a safety, the junior.
So
5'11", 180. You could see him running from 10 yards back. And I don't know if Tyler Adams is supposed to be blocking most dangerous man. He really had a guy close to the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10, and there's Christopher Lagarde.
He runs hard too, Jeff.
Yep.
Now
this is interesting though, because he's seen some action before A.K. Burrell gets on the field. They may not use him very much here tonight.
Before you mentioned it, I was thinking maybe Dutchtown made a conscious decision. Let's not use A.K. on offense. Being we moved him to backer.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that play, Jeff. That safety ran up and almost intercepted the ball.
Yes.
Look for the pump and go to Adams off of that same look later in the ball game.
I'm going to put a note by that, Coach. It's 3rd
that's
and
5.
8, and
that's a free.
5 yards as the right defensive end jumps.
Pearson's done a great job all year on stealing 5 yards. I think he got a crucial 5 yards like that in overtime.
Yeah, I think so. Right now it's 3rd and they're called. It looks like 3rd and 3, almost 3rd and 4. And it's Duke's first down. Make a cut to the 20, to the 10, and that's a score for the Griffins as they take a 20-0 lead. They scored on 3 straight drives, and this is an impressive first quarter, our first and second quarter by the Griffins. They got off to a slow start, but they're rolling right now.
44 yards. He stuck his foot in the ground and went north-south, Jeff. That was a tremendous run. I look forward to seeing that again.
We'll get the extra point, and hopefully we'll be able to see that replay after the break. As Russo comes in, and that edge is coming close every time, but it's still good. It's 21-0, 5:38 left to go before the half. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
You've probably heard that ETEL has become Rev. What you may not know is that we're revving up your internet to symmetrical speed for free. Symmetrical speed means that your download and upload speeds are the same, thanks to the Rev All-Fiber network. The new speeds have been applied to your current internet plan, and there's nothing for you to do except enjoy shopping, gaming, streaming, learning, and laughing. Learn more at letsrev.com. Thanks for being a loyal customer, and enjoy symmetrical speeds from Rev. New name, same company.
And it's 21-0. We got a shot of that replay, Andre. 45-yard run, and you see, watch this cut, boom, gone.
Yeah, it's almost option football, Jeff, where you got assignment football, and if you make one guy miss, you got a chance to take it to the house, and Duke 44 yards puts him about 75 yards or so on the night.
And Russo with the sky kick, short, 21-yard line, and then gets close to the 40. Good field position once again. But Russo usually tries to do that. They don't like to kick it deep and outstretch their coverage, and they like to keep everybody close and not give up the long one.
Yeah, they okay with 35, the 35-yard line. They would like it to be closer to the 30, and I really thought that they were going to fair catch that one. But Parkway has done a really good job kind of blocking it well enough that you don't have to fair catch it, and that's key. If you can kind of block that first wave.
First down at the 35. And there's a quick pass, caught, complete. That's probably the first time that we haven't seen them go full vertical with any kind of post route or fly route. Just a quick pass right there and got good yardage.
I was looking in the backfield, and I didn't see White. And that's because he was the receiver right there.
Yes.
That caught the football, and he's tough to tackle in the phone booth.
Yes, he is. He's an outstanding player. And this quarterback is really impressive as well. As a handoff up the middle gets about 2 or 3. The quarterback, Ashton Martin, we had heard he was injured, but he's had a very nice season. 105 of 155, 1425 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and he's got 216 yards rushing. He's a solid guy. He's 6'4", 205. And we'll get to some score updates right after this play. It's 2nd down and 6. As you see him, he's just a huge guy. A little skinny, but he's very impressive as they score 32.3 points a game. And there's a little shovel pass. A shovel pass that literally looked like a shovel pass. It looked like he just dug it up and threw it to him.
Yeah, well, that's old student body right there. They had everybody, and they're trying to get the ball to White, which I don't blame him. I would probably throw it to him on the edge again because Dutchtown doing a great job of setting the edge right there. A.K. Burrell set the edge and allowed the inside guys to continue to pursue the football, and they're getting White dancing a little bit.
So they're driving. They're past midfield. It's 3rd and 6. And a quick pass again, and they've got that. Look at the cushion that Dutchtown's leaving because they're expecting that deep pass. And they're going to have that. They can feast on that for a little while right now, Coach.
Yeah. Dutchtown is not early in the season. I thought, I'm trying to think who Dutchtown was playing. Maybe it was North Shore, first game of the year that they kept going to that same wide receiver, Jeff, and I was like, why you don't go out there and bang on him? And
on first down, now they go back deep, and there was contact, and it looked like they were going. The pass was a fly, but the receiver was running a post and stopped.
Well,
that was late.
Unlike the NFL, Jeff, you can make contact, and that contact was made before, if he throws it a second sooner, that's pass interference. And so Parkway's coach is not happy, but he's not looking when the ball's thrown. You can bang him all the way down the field as long as you don't hold him.
3:34 left to go, 21-0 Dutchtown. And there's a keeper. And Martin's not going to get a lot. He barely got past the line of scrimmage. And we were talking about the updates. Forgot about that for a moment. Zachary leading Sandoval 27-0. And then East Ascension leading West Ouachita 13-0. A lot of shutouts going on right now in Ascension Parish.
All right. Now, notice AK is a little bit off the edge, probably 4-4 with White. And that'll back him up. That's the tight end, though, Jeff. The tight end can move, but you can't make a subtle movement. But he can adjust. So Parkway is a little frustrated right now. But they got White out of the backfield. I was expecting them to go to him again right there. And I think Harold's making an adjustment with AK and sending him out there. So he and Adams are on the same side.
We're going to bring this up, too, as we talked about Parkway with 32.3 points a game, taking on the Dutchtown defense, which has struggled in the last 5 quarters. But we'll talk about what happened before those last 5 quarters. Quarterback's looking deep and in a traffic and nearly caught. It's going to fall incomplete.
If we can go back on that play, can we get the wide shot on that?
Or just get no replay there?
Well, I wanted to show you the attention. If we can see the attention, when the ball's in the air, you may be able to see it. But there's 2 in the middle of the – White's in the middle of the field. He could only get about 8 yards down the field because Dutchtown had 2 guys on him. I think it was Hanbury maybe and McCaffrey.
So A.K. Burrell will not field this punt. And look at that. That's a beauty. Rolls dead inside the 5. Great job by the punter for Parkway Panthers. And so 2:22 left to go. And Dutchtown with a 21-0 lead. That's Nolan Dean with the punt. But, the thing about this is Dutchtown really doesn't want to make any mistakes back here. And one thing to keep in mind is Parkway only has 1 timeout. So Parkway, even if Dutchtown tries to go conservative here and just run some short runs here and not throw the ball, they're not going to have a lot of time left on the clock to make anything happen.
I would expect Pearson to keep it 3 times in a row right here, just so the ball doesn't exchange hands. Oh, I was wrong.
Run up the middle. And it's about 2 or 3. And going back to that point I was talking about with Parkway averaging 32.3, and right now they're scoreless in the first half. Dutchtown went in district play, and at the end of non-district play into district play, they went 17 quarters in a row without giving up a point. And they went into the 3rd quarter of the Denham Springs game from their first 3 games and 3 quarters in district, didn't give up a point. And so this is a very strong defense led by A.K. Burrell. And you're seeing it here tonight so far. 2nd down, Pyron on the keeper.
52 points. I think Dutchtown's only given up 100 points on the season. And that'll be a record if they continue to shut out. Because I think through 10 games, the stats that Lyle Boudreau gave us was 113, and that was the 04 season.
And they played fewer games and gave up more points.
Well, it was a 10-game season. This is the 10th game for Dutchtown for the season, so it would be the same amount if Dutchtown can pitch a shutout. This will be the fewest points through 10 games that Dutchtown's given up in a season.
Clock running 1:04. Parkway has the timeout in their pocket right now.
Dutchtown's going to call timeout, Jeff. And ran it all the way down.
And so let's give us a chance to talk about what's going to happen at halftime, as we're going to have a performance from Sheely Bell and the Dutchtown Sound. They're going to do their showcase performance again. I was mistaken. Usually the showcase is the weekend of the LSU Alabama game, but for the first time in God knows how long.
Over a
it's
decade.
been moved. It's over a decade. It's been moved to this weekend, so they're going to be performing tomorrow at Showcase over at UL in Lafayette. And so you're going to see that performance again. And we're going to talk about some of the brackets and what's happening in Division I non-select. And we're going to talk about some of the pods around here and talk about what East Ascension has to do, what Dutchtown has to do. There's some interesting second-round matchups on the horizon for whoever wins this game here and the East Ascension West Washita game. Now, over at Santa Ma, they're struggling with Zachary right now. We'll talk about their bracket as well.
Well, that was an uphill climb for Santa Ma.
Yeah. You're talking about a state champion right there. You're talking about an Alabama committed quarterback. And there's a run, and that's a first down, and that's a lot more. And that's A.K. Burrell. Oh, my goodness, he's past midfield. One man to beat and tripped up. And now all of a sudden, Dutchtown has 2 timeouts left. They're going to have to think about it. That's A.K. Burrell, folks. That's the offense and defense secret weapon.
60 yards. First time he touches it tonight. Hey, Coach, put me in.
Yeah.
Put me in, Coach.
Caught everybody by surprise. And you talk about his speed and his athleticism. And he also starts on the baseball team as well. And a fake, and in trouble, and he had to get rid of it, threw it into the ground. Look at the pressure right there. Number 31 blew that up. Nice play by Chris Meslow.
They're going to call intentional grounding. It hit the lineman. There was a receiver right there.
Yeah, I believe that was Adams who had broken free, but Pyron just didn't have enough time. And so are they waving off this flag?
They're waving it off. That was a receiver in the area. It just happened to hit Fields.
Yeah.
From the 34-yard line.
That's a big wave off of a flag. You know, yep. I hadn't seen the formation, but when Pyron pumped it, I thought, hey, that's what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
They may go back to it right here because this is the formation.
AK in the backfield. And Burrell gets it, cuts outside, and he cuts inside, and he's to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and he's going to score. He has 95 yards of offense on that drive, Coach. 2 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Did you think that Dutchtown was going to score in that situation? It was 3rd and 5, and I thought they were just going to try to run the clock out. Now they're in the end zone.
It sure looked like it, but A.K. Burrell has done those kind of things all season since his first touch at running back when he went 80 against Covington in week 3 and really got the Dutchtown the offense rolling as Mayo puts it down and Roussel puts it through.
And it's 28-0 with 14 seconds left. We'll break one more time. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
You've probably heard that ETEL has become Rev. What you may not know is that we're revving up your internet to symmetrical speed for free. Symmetrical speed means that your download and upload speeds are the same, thanks to the Rev All-Fiber network. The new speeds have been applied to your current internet plan, and there's nothing for you to do except enjoy shopping, gaming, streaming, learning, and laughing. Learn more at letsrev.com. Thanks for being a loyal customer, and enjoy symmetrical speeds from Rev. New name, same company.
This looked like a offensive struggle halfway through the first quarter, probably about 8 minutes into the first quarter. Looked like a single-digit ball game. And now all of a sudden Dutchtown has scored 4 drives in a row, including a 96-yard drive in which it looked like they were trying to run out the clock and keep the ball away from Parkway. And now all of a sudden it's 28-0.
Yeah. 3 yards on the first carry for Gary Dukes.
As a return.
And 94 yards on 2 carries for A.K. Burrell.
And that's Langlois that strung that one out and made a nice tackle, kept that from giving Parkway nice field position. Now 8 seconds left, 1 timeout. You would say not a lot of opportunity for Parkway, but they have busted the Dutchtown secondary all night. And we'll have to see how deep they're going to play right here. Try to keep the receivers from breaking away.
Is White in the backfield? Wes, you got to find out where's White.
Yeah, he's in the backfield right next to the quarterback, Martin.
He's got the ball.
And he's going to try to get out of bounds and save a play.
How big?
He got down to, there's 1 second on the clock. So that's he's 5'9", 180 pounds.
Jalen White, I don't know if he has any offers, but he can certainly run. He can catch.
Yeah. He has 1,445 yards and 14 touchdowns, 33 catches, 468, and 6 touchdowns. He's responsible for about 1,800 yards of offense, Coach. And they're going to run him again.
Just get him to Dutchtown. Just needs to get him to the ground.
Yep, and
he's
he goes
smooth.
out of bounds.
He is smooth.
And it's halftime, and it's 28-0 Dutchtown. 4 drives in a row, 4 touchdowns in a row for the Griffins. We're going to take a halftime break, and we're going to come back and get the halftime show from the Dutchtown Sound, and we'll talk about the playoffs a little bit later. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
Cash for your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Dutchtown High School is proud to present the Dutchtown Sound. The Dutchtown Sound is sponsored by Keel Hottery, Reach Chris Steakhouse, Dutchtown Dental Center, Ralph Sellers Group, and Chet Snyder Restoration and Construction. The Dutchtown Sound is under the direction of Sheely Bell and Assistant Director Daniel Modenbach. Percussion instructor is Jonathan Boswell. Color guard instructor is Connor McElwain. Additional field staff for the Dutchtown Sound are Joe Belanger, Ariel Connor, Matt Atkinson, Emily Boudreau, and Brody Dan. The Dutchtown Sound is under the field direction of drum majors Emily Diaz, Jacob Luong, and Joshua Sherman. We open tonight's performance by presenting our 2022 competition show entitled A Kingdom of Our Own. Drum majors, is your band ready? Dutchtown Sounds, you may now perform your competition show.
How you know that, Will? How you know that? How you know? How you know? Well, you know that. But how can you know that?
Next, we feature our Griffin Girls as they perform to the Demi Lovato hit song, Confident. The Dutchtown Sound and the Griffin Girls. We hope you have enjoyed tonight's performance. Color guard captains are Ivy Russell and Aria Williams. Co-captains are Kennedy Garrett and Sheridan Smith. Griffin Girl sponsors are Joey Turner and Glenda Provido. Griffin Girl leaders are Captain Alyssa Email, co-captains Carissa Drumdole and Cameron Tremonte, Lieutenant Captain Milan Alvarez. Good luck to the Dutchtown Sound as they perform tomorrow night at 6:15 in the Louisiana Showcase of Marching Bands State Championship in Lafayette. Go Griffs! Please stay after the game to watch the Parkway Band perform its
halftime at Griffin Field, and Dutchtown leads Parkway by a score of 28-0. We've got some other scores to share with you, and we'll start with the teams in Ascension Parish. Zachary leads Santa Maria 35-0. East Ascension up 20-0 over West Washita. Other scores in Division I non-select. Salmon leads North Shore 7-0. North Shore, of course, beat Dutchtown week 1. Houghton and Airline, that score 20-14. Houghton leads Airline. Benton leads Ponchatoula. Ponchatoula also beat Dutchtown this season. They lead Ponchatoula 28-0. West Monroe ahead of Chalmette 21-6. East St. John's ahead of Walker 20-7. Hahnville over West Washita. Not a final, 21-13 the score, and our score 28-0 Dutchtown Parkway. And as we look at some of the by-district games, and we look at the Division I non-select playoff pods, so to speak. You look at the top pod right there, and you see the number 1 seed, Ruston. 1 through 4 have byes, so they're not playing this week. So in that number 1 seed bye with Ruston, you have Washita and Hahnville. We talked about that, Covington and Denham. We don't have a score on that one, but Denham possibly going to Benton next week if they are able to beat Covington. Been leading Ponchatoula. In the next one, this is the pod that Santa Ma's in, and you have South Side with the bye out of Lafayette, and this is only their third year of playing high school football, and that's very impressive. They won that district over Acadiana, and Santa Ma way behind Zachary right now, so you're looking at in that pod potentially Zachary versus South Side. And then Chalmette's playing West Monroe, Salmon taking on North Shore. And let's look at the other couple of pods right there. And you want to talk about that with Destrehan being the 3 seed. That's a tough draw for Dutchtown because when all is said and done, Destrehan might be the best team in the state, Coach.
They're pretty good now, 10-0. And
they're the only 10-0 team. And they're third.
I got a lot of respect for St. Charles Catholic and the job that Wayne does on defense with Jason Brown, who was here, and John Talley that was at Dutchtown. And they put up 300 yards rushing against St. Charles, I think. And they got a pretty – I think he's a quarterback. That whose son? Jai Eugene, former Tiger.
Yes.
He's having a great year. I think he's a Tulane commit, along with a couple of the Griffins that are Tulane commits. So it'll be a heck of a football game next week. I know that.
Yeah, and then the other side, you got East St. John, who lost to Destrehan in their district, the Bayou district. And then you have Houghton and Airline, Shreveport 1-5A matchup. And at the bottom, you have that East Ascension pod. And what's interesting, you see Neville right there at 7-2, but Destrehan is number 3, and they're 10-0. It's a power ranking thing. And one of the things that I've noticed is because some of the 4A teams had to move up and play in Division I with the 5A teams, they got some kind of bonus points or something like that for being a 4A team, playing 4A competition. And Neville got bumped ahead of Destrehan, which I think is kind of weird. But that's a good break for East Ascension if they can beat West Washita, because you'd probably rather play Neville than play Destrehan. No disrespect to Neville. They're a good team, but we'll see what happens next week if that's a potential game right there.
Well, one of the things that Neville does is Neville's opponents probably played 10 games. So everybody they beat could potentially have one more win than Destrehan, or the same amount as Destrehan, but now you're dividing by 9 instead of dividing by 10. And so that potentially could be an advantage of somebody who only plays 9 games. But I want to go back a pod. I want to go back to the first pod that we saw and talk about if Dutchtown beats Denham Springs, they could be could have been the 9 seed.
Somewhere in that area,
and they would be facing Covington. If you swap places with Dutchtown and Denham Springs, it could be a totally different outlook because you're not playing Destrehan in round 2.
That's going to be tough games for both teams, though. East Ascension is going to have to go to Monroe. Dutchtown would have to go to Destrehan. Right now, if everything holds, that's potentially what would happen. And so and you look at the rest of that bottom pod, that we'll finish that out, Hammond and Slidell. That's a 6 5A, a North Shore matchup right there. Belle Chase taking on Westgate. Westgate's also a 4A team, and they're in the top 10. And they won state in 4A non-select last year. West Washita, East Ascension, we talked about that. So that's your brackets right now. We're still a couple of minutes away from the second half kickoff. And Dutchtown's going to get the ball to start the second half. You remember they won a coin toss and deferred. And Parkway's in a big hole, Coach. And you're down 4 scores to a team that plays really good defense and had 3 shutouts during the season and gave up a record low points in team history. What do you do if you're Parkway? You kind of expose their secondary, but you haven't taken advantage of it because the passes have been off target. You just keep going up top until they can stop it?
Well, Parkway, if they complete 1 or 2 of those long passes, Jeff, in the first or second drive that they had, a couple overthrown balls, this is a different ball game. Dutchtown would have been playing from behind instead of playing from in head. Momentum is something that you can't measure, but you just can feel it in a game. And because they didn't complete those, now they're playing from behind. So now they're going to have to throw the football. Martin can throw it. We've seen that. 5 has gotten open. We've seen that. I say 5. That's late. Yep. And, of course, White, we've seen him get. So Dutchtown, you can't double everybody. I would expect Harrell to let them get 5 yards. Let them get 6 yards. Give up a 25-yard, 30-yard, 40-yard drive. When you get in the red zone, maybe tighten the screws a little bit and let them, between the 20s, move the football, let that clock run, but not give up the big play. That's the only way Parkway is going to get back in this game is to hit a big play to White or Lape. And otherwise, Dutchtown's playing Destrehan next week.
But I want to go back to something that happened a couple of weeks ago that Dutchtown, I'm sure Coach Chris Harrell on the defense and the offensive coordinator, Michael Janis, has kind of got in the back of their head because you're up 28-0. You want to just keep it safe and try to run out the clock and win the game. And they had a 17-0 lead over Denham Springs with about 10 minutes left to go, and they're kind of trying to run out the clock, and they couldn't. And Denham Springs scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and beat them 21-17. So on offense, with Coach Janis, what are you thinking about right here? Do you do anything different?
Well, if you go back to that Denham, and it's a real good comparison because I think the quarterback from Denham Springs that night really threw the ball well, had a couple good receivers, and I think Parkway has some of the same similarities on offense that may be short one weapon, but Dutchtown chewed up over 8 minutes in that third quarter and then couldn't do anything on offense. So Dutchtown can't just run 3 yards, cloud of dust, and 3 downs and punt and think their defense is going to and put all that pressure on the defense. Don't be surprised with an onside kick right here, Jeff.
Let's see. And it is, and that's going to be short, but Dutchtown touches it and Parkway recovers.
10 missed. 10 for Dutchtown.
Right.
McCoy had it and missed it.
But you don't touch that ball until it gets there. I know you got to. That's dangerous.
Well, you got a great hop.
Yeah. And here you go, Coach. Here comes Parkway, just like that. Stole a possession right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one for the Griffins.
We talked about Dutchtown special teams being better, and that's being understanding. You go back to Sean Payton right there. Go back to Dutchtown 2007 in the playoff game against Westgate. The Polecat snap it,
and that's White. That's odd. You tell us what we saw there, Coach, if you know.
I called it as a version of Polecat, and so Dutchtown didn't have the numbers, so the centers picked up the football, and they snapped it. 4 men in the backfield, 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
5 yards, 2nd and 5. There's a handoff, and that's number 16. That's Gladney.
I don't think they're gonna go up and down the field handing the ball to him.
Right,
So
he's a receiver.
Then
He's easy to spot because he's got those tail lights, I guess you could say. Oh, and does not get the first down.
A.K. Burrell.
Check that out.
Jeff, I don't know where he's going to play at the next level. Everywhere? At halftime, I was talking to some folks, and he's going to play everywhere, I guess.
Is he going to get a better offer than FCS, though?
Well, if he doesn't, he will play everywhere because at Furman he probably can play all 3 phases of the game.
4th and inches.
Wildcat.
And quarterback keeps it.
Nope.
No. Stopped. Hanbury and Kling.
Stop.
That's Gladney again on the carry.
I'm not sure why they snap it to Gladney on that.
That's a big break for Dutchtown.
White wasn't in the backfield. Was he at wide receiver?
I don't know.
I did not see him in the offensive formation.
And now all of a sudden Dutchtown's got good field position. Talk about a change of fortune.
You get a big stop after the onside kick.
And a fake and deep, and has a step, but a trip and a flag. As it looked like Tyler Adams had a step on the defensive back. That was Camaro Mayo, number 6.
That's the difference in Dutchtown getting the flag and Parkway not getting the flag call earlier because that contact happened when the ball was in the air.
Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line.
So it's going to be marked at the 40 after the 15-yard penalty. And the Griffins up 4 possessions trying to extend their lead. And there's a cut outside by Dukes. And it's close, and it's another first down.
Sanoma 42-0 against Zachary right now, Jeff.
Yeah, that's just a tough night. And but it was nice last week. You had the record-breaking game for Coach Oliver, and that was a great night to be out there. And here's Pyron, and it's 2nd and 8. And for you talk about Santa Maria, to see a flag on the field, that was just a situation where they were just happy to make the playoffs and keep that drive alive. They didn't have any lofty goals to like upset necessarily Zachary, but they're happy to go there. And I want to give a big shout out to big number 99, since we're talking about Santa Maria, since there might be some Santa Maria people out here. Dylan Carpenter, I'm so happy for that dude because he is an aggressive player and he's a fighter, and he's going to LSU.
Jeff, you and I talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it on air or whether we talked about it off air. And I'm going to let you call this play.
It's 2nd and short, or 1st and short, and I think that's Lagarde.
I think it is as well.
He maybe loses a yard. Go back to what you were talking about.
But, after watching this, just watching Dylan Carpenter chase down Dylan Sampson last year, just spoke volumes about how much you can run. And you can't speed never takes a day off. Either you can run or you can't run. And I thought he camped at LSU. He's 6'3". They had him at 240. And I think he carries that pretty well. He can put on 20 pounds and be a rush outside linebacker for the Tigers.
2nd and 4, Pyron keeper, and good job in the backfield. Number 14, give him some credit right there. That's Amore Brown, junior linebacker. Tripped up Pyron. It's going to be 3rd and 4. We have a whistle.
That's Pearson down.
Oh, boy.
He got hit low.
Let's take a break as he's down right now. It's 28-0. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation. Advantage Therapy. Peak Performance Physical Therapy. For their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
So Pyron's back up, and looks like he's okay. In this position, A.K. Burrell's coming into the field. They might run a wildcat right here. If you're going to look at a traditional quarterback that's going to play, we don't know if Oakland is the original Week 1 starter is available because he was injured. But you also have Dylan Champagne that may play as well behind him.
I'm not sure who's technically – well, Champagne looked like he's heading down.
And there's a run, and they may not need him right here because A.K. Burrell is going to be down at the 1, so they may need him for one more play. A.K.'s just so fast.
I don't know what his 40 time is, Jeff, but, man, he does a great job of carrying his pads. He's as fast – in shoulder pads and pants as he is in shorts.
Yeah. And there's the Wildcat snap as he scores. And, Coach, as it makes it 34-0, I want to bring up, you talk about his speed, and I talk about being a baseball player and a starter. When they played Ponchatoula in the second round last season, and it was a close game. I believe it was into extra innings, or it was at the bottom of the seventh inning, and they were trailing, or it was tied. I forget. But on a sacrifice bunt, A.K. Burrell was at first, and he took third on the sacrifice, and that made the difference in the ball game. You don't see a lot of guys that can do that.
No, I had talked to Chris. Yeah. But he may be their starting center fielder.
Right. He had started left field as a sophomore, and he was off and on because you had Dupree coming back on that team, but now they got to replace Reuben Williams at center, and he's probably the most likely guy to do that.
Well, he was playing, but he wasn't being successful. In fact, his dad and I just talked about it at halftime a little bit, but he had a hip issue, and when he told Coach Shake, he took him out of the lineup to give him a chance to heal a little bit, and kind of hard to – I mean, that was a senior-laden lineup last year. He still got in there and had a factor in the playoff game, but he would like to redeem himself on the baseball field as well.
And Russo will get a longer attempt at an extra point, try to make it 35-0. And it's good, and it's 35-0, 8:31 left in the third quarter. You are watching the Rev Game of the Week.
I'm watching Pearson right here.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, Advantage Therapy, Peak Performance Physical Therapy, for their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
It's 35-0. Jeff Porsche, Patrick Email with you. By district playoff game, and it's all Dutchtown, 35-0, as A.K. Burrell scores his second touchdown of the night. And Russell will kick it off. And it's a short kick again, sky kick. 38 flag comes down. This one may be going back inside the 30. And so we'll see if Parkway, what type of field position they have right now. East Ascension with another field goal. And it's 23-0 over there, and it's 35-0 right here. And it's 42-0 at Santamon, or actually at Zachary. So it's actually going to be an advantage for Parkway, even better field position.
Face mask? What?
Yeah, it was a face mask call. So they're going to drive downfield. And they've had a tough night so far. They had a good game plan so early on, but weren't able to take advantage of it. This is a good, solid team. They're struggling here tonight. And their coach Guy Brotherton, we're going to talk about this after this play right here. As White cuts outside, waits, cuts back in, and he's going to lose a yard as he's tackled by Hanberry. But, this is a team that made the quarterfinals last year, and they're their team on the upswing even if they don't win a game here tonight. But Coach Brotherton, and we want to thank everybody over in Bossier who's listening to this game tonight, and we're very thankful to Coach Brotherton because, sometimes it's hard to get information from the visiting teams, and we got in touch with them. First, Coach Mistretta gave us the number on Friday, and we had on Sunday, and we had everything that we needed for the team, statistics, starters, everything by Monday. And so they've been very cooperative, and we're thankful for them as you have a timeout right here. And one of the things I want to bring up here, because you got a team coming from Bossier. This is about as far as you can travel in a first-round playoff game. And in a football game like this, does that make a difference? Because, this is a better team than what we've seen so far here tonight. And does a long trip affect that?
Well, they traveled to Red River, which is week 2. They won, but that wasn't a far trip. Houghton, that's North Louisiana as well.
So that's all right. That's in the district.
Southwood, that's in the district as well. Airlines in the district. So they didn't really leave the Shreveport area. Flea flicker wide open, Jeff.
Oh, this is going to be a touchdown, and that's an easy 6 for Trenton Lake. With 7:39, it's going to make it 35-6. So you see the fake right there, and nobody was home.
No, and I'm sure Harold is not very happy about that. That
they're going to go for 2.
They got the swinging gate, polecat.
They would need 4 2-point conversions and a field goal to tie it.
That was quick math, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I have to help the math teacher with that. That was about the most awkward 2-point conversion made that I've seen, as it's going to make it 35-8, and we will break real fast. You're watching. Well, let's look at the replay, and then we'll take a break. Let's see. Just a low snap, and White's able to get it through, and it's 35-8. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, Advantage Therapy, Peak Performance Physical Therapy, for their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
It's 35-8 as a long touchdown pass from Martin to Lape. And are we going to get another onside kick here? And it doesn't appear that Dutchtown is expecting one. And this time it's taken, and a good recovery by the Griffins. That's Mayo.
Yeah, well, that's probably the worst guy for Parkway to kick it to. Some of the best hands on the team. You're not a holder on the extra point team if you don't have good hands.
Yeah.
And probably the worst thing to happen to Dutchtown right there, man. The little fake reverse and went up top. Harold was not happy about that. You don't mind giving up points. You just don't want to give them up in 12 seconds.
Right. There's still over a quarter and a half left to play. And Dutchtown may go the rest of the night without their starting quarterback, or is he going to come in and play?
He's in the game right now, yeah.
Well, there you go.
I haven't seen a noticeable injury to say he's limping here or limping there.
As they're going to throw it downfield. He's hit, and it's underthrown, but DeSherry makes the recovery and the catch. So that's a fortunate break there for Dutchtown as the pressure makes him underthrow it, but good job by DeSherry.
Well, that's 6 or 7 throws.
Yes.
And who's down? Dutchtown got a player down.
Not sure who that is. But while that's happening, we'll take another break. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
You've probably heard that ETEL has become Rev. What you may not know is that we're revving up your internet to symmetrical speed for free. Symmetrical speed means that your download and upload speeds are the same, thanks to the Rev All-Fiber network. The new speeds have been applied to your current internet plan, and there's nothing for you to do, except enjoy shopping, gaming, streaming, learning, and laughing. Learn more at letsrev.com. Thanks for being a loyal customer, and enjoy symmetrical speeds from Rev. New name, same company.
So the other injury, you believe it's Tyler Adams, the receiver, right, Coach?
My look at it is, and he ran a slant route or maybe a post route on that, so he ended up in the middle of the field.
And that's the second drive in a row where you have an injured offensive player as another skill player goes down. And Pyron was hurt, and as you said, it looks like he doesn't appear to be too injured, and he was able to come back in the game. But when you talk about why that touchdown for Parkway was important, if you can get another 3 and out or just keep them from scoring right there, and you have a 5-possession game, you might be in a position where you don't have to play Pyron the rest of the night. Now it's a 4-possession game, and you see their quick score capability. There's no way that you're going to put him on the bench right now if he's healthy.
Yeah. Well, I think a little bit in the Denham game, and I was probably a proponent of it.
Big run up the middle. Nice hole.
Proponent of them milking the clock like it. The 40-second clock's going to start here in the second. There it is. It's running. I'm a fan of letting that thing get down to about 2 seconds and snapping it, Jeff. And I thought Dutchtown did that against Denham, but it got them out of rhythm a little bit, and that kind of hurt their offense.
Yeah, that makes sense. 2nd and 5. That's a good point. As there's a little jet sweep. Caden Mackey was going to lose yards, and there's a nice play by their big guy, number 8 at linebacker, Barrett Newman.
About a 3-yard loss back to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, he came through about 4 guys, and nobody got a hat on him.
And about 7 for the Griffins.
3rd and 8. Ball's at the 27. This is a 2-down conversion territory right here. Clock running, 6:18. We're about to get to the halfway point of the 3rd quarter. All of a sudden, after that touchdown, it feels like the clock's going slower, Coach.
I felt the same thing. Like they scored at 7 minutes, and now it hadn't gotten under 6 yet.
And there's Dukes spun and down to the 25.
He was he was almost too patient right there, Jeff. He was following blockers, and nobody was around, and it was like he slowed down because of his blockers, and he needed to just kind of break away from him and go, but heavy packages in.
And AK Wildcat with Agu and Hanberry, or make that McCaffrey, excuse me.
And Lagarde.
Yes. And AK is going to go right and turns the corner, 1st down into the red zone. He's just going to get to that corner faster than you do. And when you got your fullback, your middle linebacker, and your outside linebacker blocking for you, along with the Purdue commit at right tackle, you're gonna win that battle.
A lot of traffic. Eight makes the plays to Mike Backer, but he makes it.
That's Newman again.
10 or 12 plays down the field. 10 or 12 yards down the field. So.
Now the clock is going to stop because that play was out of bounds. The play clock's at 15. They're not in a hurry. And they have the Wildcat going. And a big run up the middle by Burrell. And, you know, the Dukes and Pyron were having a great first half, but when you got to that final minute of the second half and beyond, A.K. Burrell's taking over this game.
He's bigger than you think, and man, he's got great vision. I go back to watching him as a 7th grader when You know, he had Brian Beck in the backfield over there across the street for the Fighting Pandas at Dutchtown Middle. And everybody was bigger than him, but he was playing with the big boys.
And AK Wildcat again. Cut.
Vision touchdown.
That's a touchdown for the Griffins.
Wow.
And it's 41-8. So that's the answer you need. And no, it wasn't a clock-killing drive, but it was about a 2.5-minute drive, but it got points, and now you got that five possession lead again.
Yeah, you feel good about that.
They would make it 42-8. That's a 34-point lead if the extra point is made, and that's the 5-possession game right there.
Dutchtown scored 42 points against Sanoma.
And they've scored it tonight because the extra point is good. 42-8, and we'll take a break. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
From jambalaya, pastalaya, and gumbo to daily lunch specials, Pot and Paddle Jambalaya Kitchen has Cajun dishes to satisfy your hunger. Pot and Paddle has 3 locations to serve you, including the one on Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales, Jefferson Highway near Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and Jubin Crossing in Denham Springs. You can dine in, carry out, or let them do the catering for an office get-together or tailgating at the big game. And don't forget about their delicious daily lunch specials. You can check out their specials and more on the web at potandpaddle.com.
So, except for the first drive after the onside kick by Parkway, every other drive has resulted in a touchdown this second half. And you saw the nice cutback against the grain there. It gets into the end zone. Great vision.
Great vision. Yeah. I would think at halftime, Jeff, that coach from Parkway was saying, hey, 2 weeks ago, they were up 17-0 at halftime against Denham, and they end up losing the football game.
As the returns, as you have some late contact out of bounds, but no flag.
Mayo on the return.
Right. He's a sophomore, and he's going to be a star probably as well from what we hear.
And Mayo's the cornerback, I think.
Yes.
Also, and I think he's gotten some attention from the next level. So the head coach talked to him about all we got to do is stay close, and they got that touchdown, and then I think the one that Parkway just gave up, kind of like, okay, coach, you told us we can score, but then we just gave up a touchdown. So Parkway needs something good to happen, Jeff.
Right, and you can see a difference. We can talk about that after this play. As it's a quarterback keeper, and a nice job by Martin getting about 6 or 7, and on that drive after the Parkway touchdown, instead of kind of getting conservative, playing the clock, you kept your foot on the accelerator and kept AK in the game.
Well, you throw a 25-yard pass on the first play on first down, but you okay with this? If you're Dutchtown, Chris Howard, like, hey, two plays, first down, give up 10 yards, clock's running. Inside 4 minutes.
So over at Spartan Stadium, at this point, East Ascension has a bigger lead on their opponent than Dutchtown. They're up 37-0 over West Washita.
I told you EA played good against teams that start with West.
Yep. Well, they're the West Monroe State champions. They win that game, right? And they're going to get a first down. Nice run, nice poise and patience by Martin.
Yeah, I thought they got a first down, but they marked him short. So that was a third less than 1 right there. And broken contained. Dutchtown just got to stay sound, stay in their lanes, don't get overly aggressive. Keep the ball in bounds. Let the clock run.
3:18. I want to bring up one more thing about East Ascension after this play. And it's a quick
double pass.
Double pass, yeah, but they're going to be dragged down by Carter Hanberry and not in time. And the receiver was covered down there as well as they were trying to get to late, but Kling had the coverage. So it's going to bring up second down. That East Ascension thing, they've gone to West Monroe and won. West Washita came over here, and they're going to win that game most likely. Next week they go to Neville. They might be the Monroe City champs before this season's over if they can pull off the upset.
Well, the thing I noticed about East Ascension last week when they played Dutchtown is they only had 1 or 2 bad snaps, and they've been having trouble with that most of the season. And 1 and 22, Walter.
Yeah, Walter Samuel. He.
They were a load. Coach.
Yes. And that second half against Dutchtown, they brought it to them on offense, and it was a diverse offense. They scored on long touchdown passes. Walter Samuel had his longest touchdown run of the season. And then we're going to take a break. And so while this break is happening, let's talk about the seeds in the top 10 seeds in Division I Select. And we talked about that earlier with Ruston being the number 1 seed, and you have Neville out of 4A getting up to number 2, and then Destrehan, Dutchtown's potential next opponent, number 3, and that's just odd being the only unbeaten team in your number 3. Southside, Zachary, Airline, Slidell, Benton, Denham Springs, the co-district champions, they're at 9, Westgate's at 10.
Well, I think the one that kind of stands out is because we're just not used to seeing it, but you mentioned that they hadn't been playing that long as Southside.
Right.
If Zachary was 4, then the top 4 would be, okay, we used to seeing those guys.
Right. Zachary just had that loss to St. Augustine Catholic, the 2 losses right there. That's very respectable losses, but just hurt their power rankings. As White is going to get pushed out of bounds by Cole Langlois, and a little flashback.
Around the right side.
I didn't get a score, but I got Airline as losing.
So that would be
a 6 seed.
Yeah, we're pulling that up.
They're playing a 27 seed.
So that'd be Houghton. That's a 1-5A game of interest for our Bossier friends up there in Northwest Louisiana. 1st and 10.
Got a question from our audience watching on Rev, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know which Griffins are committed to universities at the moment.
Right. We can maybe talk about that after this play right here as you see the replay. A short gain. And you see Hanbury and McCaffrey joining in. There's a lot of them. You got one, as the pass is going to be complete for a first down. You got one P5 commit with Purdue, the right tackle.
That's Ethan Fields. And yes. Started with the 4 captains. You can start with those.
Right. Well, you have the 2 Tulane guys. Pyron as a long snapper. The quarterback is going to be a long snapper in college, and a Goo at linebacker. And we'll talk about this more after this. So we have a flag. Let's get to Wayne McKinney. He's a left tackle.
Committed to Southeastern, the Lions.
Yes. And then, of course, A.K. Burrell.
With Furman, I find it hard to believe that Anson McCaffrey is not going to get an offer before the season is out. So a little story about Wayne McKinney and where he's committed and his future head coach and Frank Selfo. I'll tell you about that when we get a sec.
And there's a snap and a pass deflected by guess who? Mr. Burrell.
Martin's pass.
He can't. He's. It doesn't matter where the ball is. He's going to be there.
Instincts, Jeff. You can't coach instincts.
Look at him dropping the coverage right there, ready for that pass.
He knew his responsibility. Mm-hmm. He's seen the hitch route. Two plays before that, 10 yards, so he knew where to drop, get in the passing lanes.
So we'll have a score update after this play, and you can talk about Coach Selfo. As White is going to be stopped for a loss, I believe. No, maybe he got a yard. We'll see. A couple of updates. Denham Springs, they're possibly going to advance, and they're taking on Covington. And then Houghton up 34-13 on Airline. And Houghton's the team kind of that in that little 5-team area in 1-5A. They were kind of at the bottom.
Well, they beat Parkway. No, Parkway beat them 17-14.
Right. And that's two teams that know each other, and probably, the rematch sometimes strange things can happen as he just gets rid of it. And it's fourth down and long.
Caught a Hanbury on the pressure. Not surprising. That guy's going to have a Honey Badger type of high school huddle film when his senior year rolls around after 2 years.
He reminds me a lot of who was it? Vadney. They kind of played that safety linebacker position.
That's a good role. Vadney had a bunch of interceptions and turnovers for the Griffins last year.
Yep.
And throughout his career. Coming from the offensive side to football as a freshman.
Right. Tanner Vadney playing baseball now on the college level.
Fourth down, they got to go for it. They're going for it.
They have to. They have no choice. 26 seconds left to go. 5-possession game, and now it's going to be fourth and a lot.
4th and 20.
False start against the Panthers. Puts the ball back at the 37.
Well, that's speaking well for Dutchtown, the 5-5A district with Denham winning currently.
Yeah.
East Ascension winning. Dutchtown winning.
So the co-champs, the three-way co-champs are all winning tonight. I haven't heard much about Walker so far. We had an earlier score from them. Sanoma was not expected to win. So it's not really a disappointment. And I mean that with all due respect. Deep pass and the little post route falls incomplete.
Well, you'll see Cade Mackey come into the game and Dixon Agu come in. They're jogging off together. They're coming from the far side because that's where White was. They were double teaming him. Dutchtown will get the ball. 17 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
They got to feel pretty comfortable right now. They're going to keep some of the players in. Dukes is still in the game, but you have Champagne coming in at quarterback. Like we talked about with the 5-possession lead, you may go with Champagne. So Pyron, if they can, barring a quick couple of strikes from Parkway, might be done for the night. And there's a nice run.
Well, if you can get 6-7 yards to carry, they won't mind leaving Pyro on the bench.
And the quarter's going to end right there. Successful third quarter. Parkway scored, but Dutchtown scored twice. So it's 42-8, and we're going to the fourth quarter. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank Hollis Orthodontics, Cotta Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, SEC Heating and Air, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, Advantage Therapy, Peak Performance Physical Therapy, for their support of our Griffins Sports Medicine Program.
It's 42-8. Jeff Porsche, Pat Email with you. Going to the fourth quarter, and it's all Dutchtown at 5-possession lead. Now, next week for the Rev Game of the Week, we don't have any plans at this point. They're going to be all road games. So if we don't do any of the games or we can't cover any of the games, we're going to move on to the winter sports season as soccer and basketball are all ready to begin. And we're not just football here at Rev. We're going to give you all the sports, boys and girls, basketball, boys and girls, soccer, all coming up during the winter months. And so that's going to be very soon as Lagarde gets the first down.
Gets the ball to the 50. Touchdown, Dutchtown.
I'm looking to see. They're taking some guys out on the offensive line. They're running some players in.
Right. I see Dawson Davis on the left tackle spot, I believe. I also see Christian Gautreau on the line, another
left guard.
sophomore.
Yep. He's got quite a bit of playing time this year. Got a couple starts. 51 at center. That's Brennan Sampson.
Preston Ronaldo, I believe I saw in the game, playing kind of that tight end position. I might be wrong. You have Alec Rutherford.
Lagarde on the carry.
Not much.
Dropped for a 2-yard loss back to the
Number 74, we talked about Christian
Second
Gautreaux. He was on that.
for the Griffins.
He was trying to pull there, but didn't get much.
Chris Meslow on the tackle right there, a senior.
Casey McCoy coming in. And it looked like Jameel Kemp was going to come out the game at running back, but now he's going to stay in there. And that's so he's kind of playing that DeSherry tight end position.
A little H-back.
Yep. And Lagarde gets a few.
That's hard yards.
Yeah, he always runs hard. He does not get a lot of carries. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities behind Burrell and Dukes, as you would expect. But he makes the most of his opportunities. And he's a senior. And it's good to see him getting some action in what could be his final home game.
Yep.
So as we were talking about with the game of the week, if these two games that are now going into the fourth quarter remain as they are, you're going to have next week Dutchtown at Destrehan, East Ascension at Neville. 3rd and 9. And the pass to Mayo.
Ooh!
Wow. That's the hardest hit of the night. That was a highlight reel shot right there. And a clean hit as well.
Well, the one thing, Mayo's so light, I think he just left his feet. Trying to see the number.
No, that's Barrett Newman. 8.
He looked like he came from a long way away. Another little slip.
Well, he had to, when you hit somebody like that, you got to have momentum. So you're going to be running. He's a good player. And the punt will go out of bounds at about the 24. And Dutchtown didn't do much on that drive, kind of a middling drive there with their JV players in the game, but it did run 3 minutes off the clock, Coach.
Yeah, under 9 minutes. Once again, you don't mind giving up a touchdown. Just want to let that touchdown happen with under 5 minutes left.
Right, you don't want a 1st and 10 bomb uncovered, untouched, like you did in the third quarter. The only really miscue of the night by the Dutchtown defense. Their secondary's been burned a lot, but as we said, the quarterback has not been accurate, and he's missed by inches a couple of times. Some of them have been overthrown.
Well, the secondary's got to be disciplined enough to not pay attention to the eye candy in the backfield. Just stay deep.
And it looks like he's looking for it now. He just throws it, and he was trying to throw it out of bounds. Closest guy to the ball is Cole Langlois.
Well, 2 Whites over here and 5s over here, and they ran 5 in motion. He kind of threw his hands up like, hey, look at me. And I thought they were trying to go up top on the left side, but Dutchtown had good coverage.
Right, late, number 5, the senior wide receiver.
But he was on this side. No, this was Gladney that was up top.
Okay. You got those 3 guys left on the right hash. This is White in the backfield with Martin. And they're going to go with White, try to fool them with the run. They don't fool them.
He would have benefited from just running straight out of bounds so the clock would stop. The clock's going to continue to run.
So good job stringing that out, and it's 3rd and 9. Much better result than last night, Coach. We talked about it. Dutchtown's volleyball team played in the quarters at the Cajun Dome last night. You and I both went to the game. Game started at 9:45 p.m. Dutchtown lost to St. Joseph's last night. So all the volleyball in Ascension Parish is now over, as all the teams have been eliminated. And a pass, and a late. Not a late hit, but I don't mean a late hit, but a late contact right after the pass was thrown. It was a legit shot.
The referee helps him up, yeah.
And that was Zion Tremont, I believe, number 99.
Looks like Parkway is going to punt, Jeff, on 4th down. And nobody's probably more appreciative of that right now than Martin. after that shot.
That was a hard hit. Tremont started the season as a starter, and then coming off the bench after about halfway through the season. And he gets it away. That's a beautiful punt.
Nobody back for Dutchtown.
Right, you don't want to risk a muff.
No.
And so it's right at the 30. That's a beautiful punt.
Yep.
And that's Nolan Dean again.
Well, we watched him in warm-ups and have heard good things. Heard good things about him and his ability, and he's done well tonight.
And we haven't brought up the kicker, Aaron Burrell. You talked about it in the pregame. He was kicking 50-yard field goals, and we were thinking that could be a difference maker in a close game. But fortunately for Dutchtown, it hasn't been a close game, and they haven't. They're not going to need him tonight.
Yep. I think we both surprised by the score.
Absolutely. I thought this would be a very close game.
And,
I mean, I had a lot of respect for Parkway, and I have a lot of respect for their season because they played in a tough 1-5A. And when you got teams like that, they're going to beat each other up. And so some teams are going to be kind of lower seeds that are not necessarily bad teams.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought we had here. I thought this was a team that's in that 18-19 area that's really like a 12 or a 13.
Yeah.
But Dutchtown just came out, and they've not been able to stop the run.
Well.
And a quick pass, complete. Mayo. Gain of about 7.
Took about 5 guys to bring a guy that's probably 140 pounds soaking wet, maybe, Jeff?
Yep.
Try to bring him down.
You talk about a guy that came out of nowhere. He's a JV receiver, and then they started putting him in the rotation week 8 against Denham, or week 9 against Denham, and then last week he had the game-tying touchdown on the halfback pass from A.K. Burrell. And he went from nothing statistically to 7 catches, 115 yards in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And he's basically the second leading receiver on the team behind Tyler Adams.
Well, Champaign, you got to give Coach Janis credit. Well, letting him throw it. A second down.
Oh, third down and a great tackle. And guess what? That's that number 8 again, Barrett Newman. Senior linebacker playing in his final game.
They say 2 interceptions and 39 tackles. He must have been hurt for 8 games if he only has 39 tackles, because he has about half that many tonight.
Yes, he's I can't just say enough about that guy. As Zachary and Santa Maria scored. It's 42-7 though. Santa Maria up 37-0. And both games are about over and late in the fourth, like this one. And a punt.
84 for Dutchtown punting. No,
I'm not sure who that was.
Well, it says 84, which
but it's not.
That's not Landon Hendon.
Yeah.
Or Hedden. Even though that's who technically gets credit for it. That was a nice punt.
And now, 1st and 10. As you see some of the Dutchtown fans making their exits. And we talked about Guy Mastretta doing a great job coaching this season. And I want to bring up the seniors because this is their final night here at Griffin Field, most likely, after this play. And a nice run. The 4 senior captains on this team, as you see some late contact downfield, and they're going to break that stuff up very quickly. And we're going to talk about the 4 captains because this was a team that was kind of, we weren't sure if they were a playoff team after week 2. And then you got your 4 captains, the seniors. You got AK, you got Pearson Pyron, you got Ethan Fields, and you got Agu. And that's why you got to have character guys. Not just great players, but like just really smart, team-first players. And they kind of took control of this
Well, you got two of the four captains were Student of the Year finalists in a class of over 600 kids.
Yep.
And you're talking about the other two, that one's committed to Tulane. I mean, that's an academic institution. You're talking about another one committed to Purdue, an academic institution. You know, between the four of them, they probably got an 18-point GPA. And that's the guy that had to lead them during the tough times when it looked kind of bleak.
Yeah,
and
it looked very bleak.
You got to block out the noise if we can steal a quote from.
I can remember driving back from Ponchatoula after they lost 10-7 in the slop on a just completely wasted field after like 5 inches of rain, and we were sitting there wondering how many games is this team going to win? 3 or 4, maybe. And all of a sudden they go on a 6-game winning streak, and it has a lot to do with coaching. It has to do with Mistretta and Janice and Harrell and all those guys. But again, you can only coach so much. The kids got to execute, and the kids got to take leadership on the field, and they got to take charge in that huddle. That's what's going on.
Well, several things happened early in the season for Dutchtown. You lose, and I hate to keep harping on it. And when I call WWL, and they make fun of me mentioning Dylan Sampson every week for 3 years, but you got to find what your new identity is. And early in the season, Dutchtown didn't have it like they have it right now. And Oakwan going down, and Oakwan was actually starting to play better when he got his injury, but when Pearson his game was so much better as a senior than it was the last 2 years. Taking the snap, like no pressures on him, and running the offense. And Dukes, who was running hard, and AK, the offense has melded, and the defense has played well all year.
And it's a first down for Parkway as White will carry. Actually, that's not White. That's number 4, Dre Abner, with the carry. And you're talking about like student athletes and the GPAs and stuff like that. We brought it up earlier. Dixon Agu just this week honored at the Saints game for his work as a scholar athlete. And you talk about a guy that's honored in a situation like that. Not only is he a great middle linebacker, not only is he a great scholar athlete, he caught the game-winning touchdown last week. Yeah. How many times does a middle linebacker catch a game-winning touchdown on a little Tebow pass from A.K. Burrell? And I tell you what, his performance on the Superdome field, getting that giant check last week, was better than the Saints' performance on the field last week.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it. I was thinking it.
Yeah.
Clock running, Jeff, 3:40.
As the handoff, and that's Abner again. And he's tackled. And that's number 15, Ismail Patterson. And good for him. He's a senior, and he hasn't got a lot of action on the field, but he comes down, and he's a small guy, but he just made a big hit.
Juan Torres for the Griffins. Evidently, he's a team favorite because they got some cheers from his teammates when he ran on the field. Dutchtown trying to play some younger guys.
3 minutes left, and this. You see number 9 making that tackle, Brennan Baker, junior linebacker. He was injured a lot during the season. He's just getting back on the field, and he's making a big tackle right there.
Chase Robinson in there, Ismail Patterson.
Yeah, Chase Robinson. He's a good guy. He's a senior. I taught him way back in the day. I'm glad to see him making some plays. 2:35 left to go.
Mason Miles, sophomore linebacker, in the game for the Griffins.
Now you see the secondary is still the same because they got that in the back of their head.
Well, you got Thomas Pierce, a sophomore cornerback. He's playing the safety spot.
You got Kling and Langlois still out there, though, the 2 seniors. And there's number 45, Mason Miles. You call him, he does it.
That was 4th down, so Dutchtown's going to take over unless they flipped it. Okay, this is going to be 4th down.
So if Dutchtown can get possession here, they'll just take a knee and end it. This is just a big surprise. Not necessarily that Dutchtown won because we knew they could win, but Dutchtown dominated this game. And the last couple of weeks, you have a 21-point comeback loss in the 4th quarter, and then you have the overtime comeback win. This team, when they play good competition, they're right at that level, and then today they rose above that level.
Yeah, Dutchtown played real well. I don't think Dutchtown is counting their chickens.
No.
Before they hatch. In 1:16 clock run, I've got to get my story in.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The head coach at Southeastern is the brother of the former head coach at Tulane.
Right, Selfo.
Yep, it was Chris Selfo that was the head coach's brother, Frank. Played baseball at Northeast, and he was the catcher, and he asked the umpire for a new ball. And the umpire said the ball's in play. So he took the ball when he threw it over the backstop. He said, "Now I need a new ball, Mr. Ump." He probably denies it.
Yep.
And that story probably goes back 50-plus years, but that's the way I heard it.
Well,
I like Coach Frank.
Yes. It's 1st down, and this might be the final play. As
a long ride home, Jeff, that bus ride.
Yep. And West Washita's going to have a long bus ride home, too, because they're going to go back to Monroe, losing 37-0 to EA. 2nd and 5, 15 seconds. And number 28 flying into the game, Riker Rogers Jr. out there.
He's going to snap it one more time and hand it off.
And that's number 26, Sheldon Cassidy, and that's the ball game. Dutchtown wins, and wins with authority. The 14 beats the 19, 42-8, as they're going to meet at midfield and shake hands. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up. 42-8 our final score. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins! Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network, where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character, and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
Their reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Chris's Specialty Foods has been making Cajun meat products for almost 30 years. We do all the prep work so people can have home-cooked meals without spending all day in the kitchen. Everything is done ourselves. With 3 locations in Louisiana and a 4th in Texas, we needed all of them connected to the same system for point of sale and telephone. Rev Business set us up, and it's been a game changer. They have everything as national companies, but with real local service. Rev Business is authentic Louisiana, just like Chris's.
Cash for your car. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants to buy your car. It's fast, easy, and fair. No matter what make, no matter what model, no matter what mileage. The Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center wants it. And we'll pay you cash for it, even if you don't buy from us. It's the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales. Cash for your car at the Ross Downing Buick GMC Buying Center in Gonzales.
Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
We're back, and we're going to wrap things up. Jeff Porsche and Pat Email, our final score, Dutchtown 42-8. They advance, and they're going to play at Dutchtown in the second round. And this was just this is Dutchtown's best performance of the season, Coach.
Well, yeah, they played, Santa Monica and one going away 42-0, and that's when they just ran crazy, probably 300 yards rushing, and then they got to their best two games on their schedule with East Ascension and Denham Springs and split with those. And I think they learned a lot about the team. And you'd rather learn about your team in week 9 and bounce back in overtime in week 10 to win, and rather than learning it in week 11. And I think that bodes well. Sometimes taking a week off is good, but it also gets you out of rhythm. And Dutchtown playing this week, as long as Pyron's healthy, and they come out of this game healthy and he's ready to roll next week, I'm looking forward to a tremendous contest down in Dutchtown, down the road.
So next week you have 2 games involving Ascension Parish teams, both on the road. Dutchtown at Dutchtown and East Ascension at Neville. And when you talk about we'll wrap up things with kind of the 5A overall performance. And right now the district is 3-1 with 1 game pending, as the 3 co-champs, Dutchtown, East Ascension, and Denham Springs all win. Santa Monica lost to Zachary, and we're still waiting for a final from East St. John and Walker. So a great performance in the postseason so far by District 5A, and congratulations to Parkway on a great season. And I know they're disappointed. I know that's going to be a tough ride home, but they've had a good season, and they're going to be heard from in the future as well. So our upcoming future games, we'll find out where we're going. If we're going anywhere, we don't know yet, so we can't tell you there's going to be a game of the week yet, but we'll find out. And when you do, always check on the YouTube Rev Sports channel, Rev Sports and Rev Sports 2, and we'll tell you where we're going if we go anywhere. And if we don't do football, we're going to be coming up with the winter sports. So we're going to have boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer all coming. And then in the spring, of course, you had baseball and softball. So it's a full season here at Rev Sports, so we don't end at the end of football season. So I'd like to thank everybody. If this is our final football game, I'd like to thank everybody who's done a great job with this, the student interns, Andre and Nolan and Coach Email and Swack, and everybody who's made this look awesome. So any final comments, Coach?
And Jeff, this is really the first full season I get a chance to do it. 7 games.
Yes, good
and
job.
I really enjoyed myself. I really hope we got another one left in us, at least in the football season.
Well,
'cause I would love to be able to call another Dutchtown game.
Yep.
And watch them play if we can make it happen. But tremendous season. Good luck to the band that they're competing tomorrow night at 6:15 at Cajun Field for their state championship.
And so lots of things happening here at Dutchtown High School, and that's going to wrap it up. Final score, Dutchtown defeats Parkway 42-8. For Coach Email, I'm Jeff Porsche. You've been watching the Rev Game of the Week.